You're listening to the Actors Resource with Alice Kwan, a podcast for actors and improvisers with interviews from entertainment industry experts.
Jordan Elizabeth Gelber is an actress, producer, and influencer based in New York City. She has always been a lover of the performing arts and telling stories, from putting on shows in her parents' kitchen when she was a kid to playing numerous roles both on stage and off. She graduated from Marymount Manhattan College in 2010 with a BA in graphic design and communication arts and has been working as a professional actress since 2007. Her recent projects include When We Dance, the Music Dies with Eric Roberts and being a part of the prestigious theater company Theater 68. When she's not acting in projects, she's usually creating new content and distributing content on her Roku channel for her marketing and production firm, Starbaby Enterprises. Welcome, Jordan.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. You're amazing because you do all of it, right? You do acting, you're writing, you're producing, you're current with social media and new ways of promoting work. As you know, our podcast is primarily geared towards educating and inspiring other actors and improvisers. But one of the first questions I wanted to ask you is, at what point and what made you choose to do both acting and producing?
Well, first, thank you so much. This is so exciting, and you're awesome. I think the transition to becoming just an actor versus being an actor and producer and kind of marrying the two, it was always seamless for me. I think as early as I knew about that I wanted to be an actor and about the acting industry, the passion also developed for producing. I always loved discovering about the show business and the show part and the business part. Mm-hmm. So to me, they were always synonymous with my career goals. But professionally, I would say that I really started producing very seriously in the beginning of, I would say, 2015. Throughout my whole life, I went to school not for acting, surprisingly. I went to school for marketing and graphic design. I was a communication arts major. So I was a double major, double minor in college because I'm a masochist. I take on way too much work. But I really focused on communications because I decided that if I was going to act, I was going to go do it. I had gone to a performing arts high school, and that really just threw me headfirst into really deciding that I really need to understand how the business works because it's going to really help facilitate my career. And when I launched my own company in 2013, I was doing event production, and then one of my friends was like, "Why are you doing events? You're an actor. Why aren't you making films?" And a light bulb clicked off. And then since then, I've just been all about making films. If I'm not in it, I'm making it. If I'm not making it, I'm helping distribute it. I just love the possibilities, especially with today's technology, of what you can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is so cool. Real quick, you mentioned that this is in alignment. Both acting and producing were in alignment with your career goals. Did you want to share what your career goals are?
Oh, wow. I feel like I always forget to ask myself this question. My career goals, I think, career goals can be as big as you want them to be. And for me, it's being a successful working actress and producer. I want to be known for the projects that I've found and developed and been a part of in every sense of the word. One of my biggest influencers growing up was this woman named Jennifer Elster, and she had created a film called Particles of Truth. And she was the lead actress. It was her production company. She wrote it. It was her thing. And I was so like, whoa, this is so cool. Like, I don't have to pick one career. I can do everything. And I really was so inspired by that it was like, this is what I want. Right. So my ultimate career goal would be to have a similar story on even grander scale. I think my biggest inspiration today is Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and she is like the queen of making her own stuff and being in it. So that would be my career goal, to be making something that is so inspirational to so many other people, that really tells a strong story that everyone in some capacity can relate to. And I haven't decided what I want that form to be, whether I want it to be a film or a series or a play even, but I know that that's my ultimate career goal, is just to make projects that I can show off all my skill sets while also providing opportunities for my friends. Because I think that that's really important, is community.
Right. Yeah, definitely. When you said Phoebe, was that Phoebe from Fleabag?
Yes, that was
Yes.
Phoebe Fleabag.
Okay.
The show is like so important to me. Like
Well,
it's almost a religion, I would say. That sounds really creepy. I hope if I ever meet her, she's not like, you did a podcast once, so you called my show a religion, and I'll be like, yeah, no, totally. Yeah, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I mean, I think she's killing it right now. I
mhm.
listened to a podcast that she was in talking about just the whole process of it and how, she made it into, it was a one-woman show in Fringe, and then
Mhm.
it became a pilot. It became a show, and
Mhm.
then it had a hiatus, and then they asked her to do another season, which was totally by a fluke, and now it's just blown up. And now I believe she's the writer for the next Bond. I know
Oh, wow.
yeah, she's the writer for the next Bond film. And I think she's made these exciting, like unabashedly vulgar women, because that's how we are. Like we're a bit crass. We're not always put together. And I think
It's so
that's what
true.
makes us sexy. I mean, I know it's completely like diverting off the top of this conversation, but
Oh, no,
I
it's all good.
I think it's important to tell honest stories. And I think we are at a period of time in media where talent and epic storytelling
Mhm.
is so important,
Mhm.
because it's really kind of, they're like individual time capsules, whether they're just like silly sitcoms or, dark comedies or like very potent dramas. I think that everything is a time capsule, and it's amazing what we can do now, and how people are learning and loving and discovering things about themselves and about society and about how we communicate with the world. It's so, I'm so passionate. This industry is like, it's in my blood. It's so important to me. So
Yeah, I've never heard of it put that way, as a time capsule, but you're right. It's a way of telling current stories that can hopefully, raise humanity, right? Continue to improve or progress in a positive way, ideally. So, or compassion or understanding or all of that. Um, for people who are actors who would want to become producers or just starting to think about, creating their own content, do you have some advice on how to start something like that?
of course. And I think one really good thing to point out is that producing a series and just developing content are not always the same thing.
Ooh,
I think,
perfect. Yeah, that's
I,
good to know.
and it's a
Let's
really
talk about
important.
that. Let's talk
Yeah,
about what is
let's
content versus producing.
okay, let's get into it. I
Yeah.
think it's such a huge pressure to produce, and there's such a huge pressure to like create content.
Mhm.
And content is such a loose term. It's my favorite word that I've been using a lot this fall is like malleable. It's such a malleable term.
Mhm.
So content to me could be like social media pictures or a social media campaign. It could be a blog that you write. It could be a podcast. It could be, a talk show in your bedroom with you and your stuffed animals. Like whatever motivates you to develop a tangible piece of material that you can use to throttle and catapult your exposure to the next level, I consider content.
Okay.
I know content in, the business sense has really been highlighted as video content like YouTube and vlogging and web series. Web
Right.
series has a little bit of a bad rap, but I'll get back to that. But
Yes.
it's not the same thing as like producing a series. I think being a producer, understanding that there are different levels of producers. There's an executive producer and an associate producer and like just a regular producer. I think that every single person that wants to get into the entertainment industry should understand or have some sort of like understanding of what all the roles that come into making your favorite piece of material. So if you're passionate about creating a television series, which can now be a digital series, which can be a web series, it's important to understand, like, do you know what a showrunner is? Because like, I'm not a showrunner. I wish I had that talent. Not me, but I understand what they do. At the same time, what the writer does and what does the writer need? And if you're going to, have your own script, well, before you have a script, how do you bring an idea to somebody? Well, if you have an idea, what kind of material do I need? Do you know what a treatment is? Do you know what a pitch deck is? Do you know what a one sheet is? Understanding these little minute details is so important, because going back to the concept of show business, people think more about the show. They forget about the business. And it's important in a business to understand what everyone's job is. Like, I know that like Starbucks is a coffee shop and they have baristas, but I mean, the baristas wouldn't have coffee if some dude in the middle of wherever was making like growing coffee. Like, you know, you should understand everything that it took to get to that business to run. And if your business entity happens to be your series, because a lot of people LLC their series, if that's your business, you should understand everyone's roles so you can truly identify what your strengths are. And because it's important to surround yourself in business, and I want to keep saying in business because this is a business, is that finding people where your strengths are their weaknesses and their strengths are your weaknesses, so you can work synonymously versus everyone competing with one another. So
right. I love that, the collaborative process, and not trying to build up your weaknesses, but accepting them and going with your strengths and finding somebody else whose strengths are your weaknesses.
Exactly. And I think that like one thing that comes up all the time, and I'm going to probably get like a little bit of like heat from this, but I am so anti-pilot development when it comes to making your first big thing. Like for me, I'm always about like either do it or don't do it. Either show your foundation and your blueprint and have a great presentation of why this deserves to be made, or do a full enchilada, like do a whole film. I think short films are great, so I'm not going to hate on short films, but you know, I play a lot in the digital series space. And so
now, when you say digital series space, okay, so two questions to follow up with based on what you're saying. Where can people find all of the different terminology and information so they can learn more about, you know, executive producers and everyone's different titles and what they need to do? And then the second question is, what is a digital series specifically versus a web series?
Great follow-up question. So the first thing I would say is find your favorite show, go on IMDb, and bypass all the pretty actors and click to see full cast and crew, and see the whole list of all the crew, and everyone's divided up. So, you know, you have your casting directors and you have your not your showrunner won't necessarily be listed, but you have your writers and you have your producers, your executive producer, you have, you know, your associate producer, your, the director, the DP, the grip, all these things, especially in a world today where you can make your own content and you know, I like film off my awesome iPhone right now. Like, but at the same time, like I appreciate the technology and the skill set of working with a Sony A7S. Like it's important to know the balance and what people can do, because it'll make you a better, you know, actor, writer, filmmaker, producer, creator. If you at least, you know, it's like, if this is your passion, be a connoisseur to best your abilities, and the things that you kind of geek over will definitely come to light, and you'll find other people like that. But I think it's great to have respect. Like I know for me, like I love being on set. I PA a lot when I'm not acting because I just enjoy being on set.
Yeah.
And I AD and all that crazy stuff, but AD is a whole world. Like to all the ADs out there, like you are a very special place in the world. So I've done all the different kinds of crew jobs, except cinematography, because it's not my thing. But you know, it's helped me be a better actor, because it's allowed me to appreciate that, like when I'm on set and I'm acting, like I know that if I'm friends with the DP and the director and they say, do this, or right now we're doing a medium close-up or a two-shot and stuff like that, it's important to know what those terms are, because it's going to make me look better at my career. It's going to make me a better actor. It's going to make me a better team player. And it's going to also help me understand like where I want to get to. Like, do I want to end up being on a 2-camera film sitcom? Like, if you don't know what that is, but you want to be on sitcoms, maybe that's something to look into. It's a very specific kind of show. But that kind of went off tangent. But the point is that all these roles and job titles and are going to be listed on like IMDb, and you could literally just Google it. I mean, there's not like I wouldn't say, I don't have a place that in my heart that I feel is like the number one resource for materials. And I'm sure one of my friends is going to send me a link later, be like, you should have plugged this. But I would say that, you know, you can just look them up. It's as easy as looking at like Googling, what is a CEO? What is a COO? You know, it's the same kind of like, the same way you would do the research on that.
Right. Great.
Also,
Thank you. That's excellent.
Oh yeah, no, my pleasure. I love educating people. To me, I work so hard to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And there's so much noise. I mean, I think there's even more noise now with the connections that we have online than there was before. So if I can help somebody just navigate through the noise,
right,
it makes me happy because I'm helping them get better. And you need to find your mentors and you need to feed your mind constantly. Mm-hmm. So to be able to help people with that, it's so cool to be able to be on a platform to educate. So again, thank you for letting me do this.
That is awesome.
To your other point of what is a digital series,
mm-hmm.
I'm trying to really feel comfortable in my mouth saying digital series lately. It's the digital series or virtual series, I think, are the new, more classy ways to say web series. Web series are great. People started giving web series a bad rap because I think people think web series just means YouTube. When in reality, it's so much more than that. And YouTube, thankfully for YouTube, it was the first seed in a very tiny field. And now we have a bunch of things popping up and all over the place. But, YouTube paved the way for a lot of amazing, amazing shows like Broad City and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
However, web series is there are people making shows for online content. The whole media industry is shifting to streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
You could even say that every single show on Amazon Prime from Amazon Studios, and I have to stress that the original shows from Amazon Studios distributed through Prime,
mm-hmm.
they are all digital series. I mean, you watch them on a digital platform. You watch them on Amazon, which you can watch on your phone. You can watch it on your Roku, Apple
mm-hmm.
TV. You can watch it on your computer. You can watch it on your TV. Some of them have them built in now. But they're all OTT platforms, and OTT platforms have web series. And,
mm-hmm. And sorry, real quick, what does OTT stand for?
So OTT is this really hilarious term that means over the top, which pretty much in layman's term means it's off the box. And off the box, it's off the TV.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a wonderful buzzword. I can't stand it, but it sticks out like a sore thumb. But it really is just a great way to say that a digital platform where you digest content.
Okay.
So, for example, your general OTT platforms currently, OTT networks, I'm going to say OTT networks currently are Amazon
mm-hmm.
Prime. Mm-hmm. Netflix, Hulu, those are the big ones. Then, of course, a lot of the major networks are having their own platforms. Disney Plus is the new big one. Apple Plus is the new big one. But, HBO Max and HBO Go, which are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Those are both platforms. Then you have CBS's own streaming platform. AMC, I believe, has its own streaming platform. I could be wrong. YouTube is an OTT platform in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
Vimeo used to...
Is that OTT? Vimeo
to me is like a chameleon. So for those that don't know, High Maintenance is probably one of my favorite shows and my favorite digital series success stories.
Uh-huh.
And when I say digital series, it's digital series, virtual series, web series, whatever word comes first. But they're all pretty much, they are online streaming series.
Right.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
To me, High Maintenance is one of my favorite success stories. It was the first original series to be greenlit on Vimeo. So Vimeo actually helped produce that project, and it was on the Vimeo platform. So Vimeo, I think because Vimeo was always a hosting site
mm-hmm.
versus a place that people go to watch content. Yeah.
Right.
Watch content for an entertainment purpose. I know people that are hey, I put our film up on Vimeo. Vimeo is a really high-end hosting site.
Yes.
And people used to say, here's my Vimeo link of our film, because Vimeo hosted high quality where YouTube really wasn't 1080p at the time. They weren't really doing high quality content on there in the uploading capacity. So Vimeo was a really great place to keep the quality of your project and be able to share it in wonderful ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people saw it as a Dropbox way versus a YouTube way in the entertainment facet.
Right.
And so High Maintenance was the first show greenlit through Vimeo, and it got such a great buzz that HBO, I believe, purchased all of that content, which is you can find now on HBO. And then HBO greenlit the series that is now available, that is a full length series versus a short form series. So, and that going back to the web series question, a lot of people consider web series just short form series, and short form, which is the category at the Emmys now, but short form series and content, web series and digital series can be any length now. It's like you don't have to have you can have a full length show that's on a OTT platform versus like a 5 to 10 minute episode show, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Vimeo is like an OTT platform as well. I mean, I think it's still trying to reinvent the wheel in regards to what it wants to be, whether it just wants to be a hosting site or it does want to be a place where you could digest content. I actually met someone yesterday that puts all their content on Vimeo, is actually using it as a platform for themselves. So I guess it kind of is in its own way a OTT network. But yeah, those are the networks in the sense of like those are the streaming places you could digest content. Right. But there's also a lot of places where those networks live, and I call these like the devices that they live or the homes that they live on. So like for example, your smartphone, iOS, Android are like platforms where you can digest content. Your smart TVs, your computer, Roku, Apple TV, Fire Stick. Those are like the three big like box-like ones. But yeah, those I consider them like Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. I consider like the mall. Like they're individual malls, and like the OTT networks that live on them are kind of like little individual storefronts. And it's different. Like for example, Roku doesn't call them networks. Roku calls them channel, like the Roku channels.
So interesting.
Yeah, it's like a whole new world.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like especially regarding Roku, because I know that this is something that you've especially are looking into, right? With your own production company. And what is the name of your production company? I think I might have said it in the beginning, but let's
so my company is Starbaby Enterprises.
Cool.
Starbaby is one word. There's no capital B. I have to always remind people that. It's Starbaby Enterprises, and the channel will be Starbaby TV or Starbaby Channel. We haven't really decided yet, but it's going to be launching like now. So it's going to be we're going to beta test on a Roku channel. It's pretty much our own Roku network. So we have a few shows that we represent. The purpose of this channel is to incubate content. So people can come to us for distribution. And when they distribute with us, we also provide them with the fact that our team will be projecting their shows and like not only distributing on their content, but our whole goal is that every single year we want to wipe out our content, add new content, because we want the content that we previously were representing to be bought out by major networks. So we will be pitching the shows to other networks. So like, I have no desire to necessarily be Netflix. I definitely want to be seen as a trendsetter in the industry. And I definitely want to be seen as like, we have the hottest content, we have the best shows, and we make the best shows. I mean, for entire self-serving reasons. Like I made my own company to help my career as well. So like to me, it's great to be able to say, I want to make a show, and I want to make a show that's going to tell my story, tell a story that I believe in, and I want to be there, and I want to show my chops and my talent, and that drives me, because acting is still like my number one goal. I've built a lot with my company. It's still my number one goal. So being able to say, I'm going to make this thing, I'm going to be in it, and I have a guaranteed distribution platform that I provided to myself. It's so wonderful. And then I also represent a lot of great shows of my friends' shows, but everyone had to go through a screening process. Like this year we implemented a very big screening process. So, we have identifiers that we look for the shows that we work with, but we have some amazing content that we represent at the moment. So the channel, our Roku channel it's a hybrid of content you can watch to be entertained that we're helping get distribution, as well as there's a whole educational purpose. So like I will be an influencer on there, and the same way that YouTube has influencers, I don't want to break into YouTube. YouTube is its own entity. I respect it. I wave at it. I'll still use it in many social media aspects. But to me, I'm going to have my own platform on Roku, my own channel on my Roku channel. And then I have like a friend who's like a coach. She works with individuals and building their own personal brand. So if they want to like vlog and stuff, she helps them get started. So it's going to be like an educational platform. And because the fact that I think a lot of people are missing out on creating a content, or think that there's all these bells and whistles, like the same way that actors feel that there are all these gatekeepers stopping them from getting where they are to where they want to be. I think that's the same way in, making your own stuff. Like people feel that, oh, well, I need, thousands and thousands of dollars, or just like, oh, I need a writing agent, which isn't true anymore, a writing agent to get my, my pilot seen by the best people. Yes, in many ways that you do have to do that. But I also think, like, get your feet wet, wake up tomorrow morning, go on your phone or on Facebook. I'm sure there's a lot of people who have the same goals and dreams as you. And if you make a quality project and it's authentic, and when I say quality, I mean, like, you're doing it for the right reasons, you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's. Everything doesn't have to be perfect, but, like, be authentic in the stuff that you create, and people will listen to that. And there's like plenty of web series festivals, just like there's film festivals. So there's a lot of opportunities for people to be seen by the audience they want to be seen by, and interact with people that will help them with their careers. I mean, the people that I met along the way, I wouldn't be able to be here without them. And that's through to waking up and being like, I want to make my own stuff, and I want to be in my own stuff. And now look where I am.
That is so cool. And then to piggyback on that, just a couple of questions to clarify.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe this will be your second question to answer, which is, acting is your primary number one goal. What is going on with your acting career that you're working on at this time? But before that, maybe the better question to answer first would be, you said there's a screening process in order to be one of the shows that your company, Starbaby Enterprises, will produce. What is that, or where can people find that?
So the screening process is something very new, and I decided to implement a screening process because my background's in marketing. And Starbaby at its core is a marketing and production firm. They work hybrid. They work in tandem. We do some marketing stuff. We do some production stuff. They overlap a lot of the time.
Nice.
And I thank you. And a big part of the marketing thing is that you want to be able to push something out there. And so many other mom and pop OTT networks that I see, I'm not going to name them, but a lot of the ones that I see are pretty much just like glorified libraries, where they're like, I'm going to have a network, and I'm going to, all the content I can find, I'm just going to put up on there just so I can say I have a network. And, like, I think that's cool. That serves many purposes. It gives people an opportunity to be on something other than YouTube. I'm not trying to hate on YouTube. I think YouTube is just trying to be something different than it originally was. And you do you, YouTube. But like these other smaller mom and pop like networks, like they don't go the full length of what it means, in my opinion, to be a upper echelon network. And I think that, and I've been saying this for a while now, if you want to have a seat at the table, you have to act like you're already at the table. And the only way to do that is with quality control. So a lot of the networks and the smaller networks that I really am inspired by, which I work with, that I've been working with before I launched my own channel, because my shows you can see on some of my affiliate networks that I work with, a lot of them provide a marketing component, and that is such a crucial thing to me. So, if I'm not only I'm housing them on my network, then I'm also, I'm pitching them to major networks, and I'm marketing those shows on my social media and cross collaboration, all that great stuff. I want to make sure people see that, like, we're not just taking everybody, but we're taking the things that we really believe in. And that's not to say, and there's a reason they make different flavored lollipops. Like, what I might be inspired by might not inspire somebody else, but I really, I believe in shows that really have thought through where they're going.
Right.
That's the first thing.
So kind of like the channel that you're creating on the Roku channel will have your voice, will have Starbaby Enterprises voice. Is that kind of like, so that's why you're curating and choosing the quality of the content. Is that correct?
Yeah. We create and curate content. So in some of our original shows are not going to go on the Roku channel, because the Roku channel is really about like what I believe is like our top stuff that I think is ready to be distributed on that next level.
Nice. Yeah.
I can see this particular show. It could be on a TV. It could be on any Viacom's networks. It could be on Freeform. It could be on wherever it desires. Like, each one of the shows represents we have a very strict conversation of where do you want to go? Where is this going? Are you making any other seasons? And we don't just represent shows, like we represent films as well. So it's not just like, oh, come and binge watch X. It's like, come and check this out and check this out and check this out. But yeah, but they're all like ready to pop shows. And, you know, we have shows that have one season. We have shows that have 3 seasons. We have shows that have 2 seasons. We have shows that have 5 seasons. I mean, like, not really. We don't have a 5-season show yet. But what I'm saying is that like all these shows have really grown, have really sunk their teeth into making something, and there's room to grow, and they have a plan to grow, which is why we feel confident in having them distributed on our channel.
Nice.
And because I might even make something that I want to distribute, but if it's not ready to, you know, be binged tomorrow on, let's say, Netflix, hypothetically, right? Like, you know, then it might not be best fit for the Roku channel. It might be fit on the smaller networks you work with. But yeah, I mean, the screening process is this: if you're interested in us working with your show,
whether
that be on
let us know how we can contact you and whatnot.
You can always find me on social media. I'm a social media nut. My personal social media is at Jordy_Starbaby. That's JORDIE_STARBABY. Starbaby Enterprises has its own social media at Starbaby ENT NYC. And that's on like Twitter and Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and Facebook at Starbaby Enterprises. And then of course our website, which is starbabyenterprises.com. You can contact us. You can message me directly through there.
Cool.
It's just a great way to connect with us. And if you have a show, like reach out, like be like, hey, I think you need to see this. I love recommendations from all over the world. We worked in South Korea. We work with shows from Australia. We work with shows from Japan, from England, from Australia, from New Zealand, from, of course, the United States, from all over.
That's so amazing. That's so good. You're so, like, in such a short amount of time, like, grown, like so much, right? That's so amazing.
Thank you. I mean, I think, you know, what I love is the fact that I can create in every part of the world today. And I think as someone who always wants to travel, but necessarily couldn't go anywhere at the time, to be able to say, like, I'm going to go there because I want to do something there. I want to be in this thing over there. Like, my main focus, my acting career right now is really to work in England. Everything in England I'm obsessed with now. I blame Fleabag. Like I said, it's my religion. So, you know, but to me, like, the ability to work there, I mean, just like in Canada, Vancouver is huge right now. Like, I want to work throughout the entire US, but also expand. I think the fact that you can be a global market, you independently as an individual can be a global market is so cool. And I get to connect with people from all over the world. I mean, that like 20 years ago, that would have been unheard of. I'm not like inexpensive.
Right.
The fact that I can, you know, like there are stories being told in the middle of nowhere in the country that are being binge watched by people, and like South Korea, because like some places that aren't the United States love American content. Like we binge watch all the BBC stuff here. Like imagine what you could do, what you could share, what you can engage with, who you could engage with. I think it's amazing the global possibilities of media today. I'm such a junkie for it. You know, it's so passionate to me. I mean, the little culture pockets that I've been able to engage with and be a part of, I wouldn't have had those opportunities had I not been introduced to the web series world, because that's really where it's at. Like, people don't know, if people who aren't, I'm not going to say in the know, I think it's a little crass, but people who aren't really researching it don't really understand that, like, all over the world, like, short form digital series is where it's at. That the United States has really just started to pick up on it in the way that it is seen everywhere else. You know, there are some great conferences that happen in the United States, all over the world, that are really based on like buying media content. And like, you engage with shows that, like, I found a show that I'm working with now. I can't really say what it is yet because we're going to launch with it on our channel. But like, it's an amazing show. It's shot in England. And I'm like, I want to be on that show. So we're going to find a way to do that. Like, I think that's cool. Like, I can say like, oh my God, like, these people made their own show and I'm so inspired, and oh my God, I would kill to be in a part like that. And now I can you know, make friends and be like, hey, my name's Jordan. I'm an American-based actor, but I really love your show. I would love to audition for your project. Like, that is so cool that it, like, imagine the possibilities of being able to film another country and work in another country. Like here we think of, like in the United States, we think so much like New York and LA are like the epicenters of the world. I mean, that's kind of changing. But in terms of like making content in the United States, like people are really like gung ho about that. And I think it's so cool now that you can like go to like Miami and Chicago and Atlanta and Austin and, you know, Colorado and Denver and stuff like that. Like you could do, like I said, I'm like obsessed with this. So to me, just being able to see new parts of the world by doing the thing that I love is such a beautiful thing. And I'm so grateful for all the people that I've met.
Yeah. I mean, because of the internet, which, you know, has its positives, really great positives, like what you're talking about right now, and some negatives, like when we have bad connections. But it's amazing. It's really created a more, you know, global community where it doesn't have to be so, so like you don't have to be in New York. You don't have to be in LA or London. You still can be. There's still huge meccas, but the fact that you can create amazing content from South Korea is amazing, and that you can connect with people. I think that is so great. That relates to another couple of questions. Is more specifically, what are you working on right now for your acting career? And then also, based on your background with social media and marketing, because you had mentioned marketing, how do you use that, social media and marketing, to help your acting career? Is it related to your connections by producing? And then back to the original question, anything specifically you want to share about your acting career right now that you're working on?
So specifically to my acting career, I have a lot of things in the pipeline that I'm producing that I auditioned for. I have to specify that I auditioned for, that I got involved with, that I really believe in. So I'm taking larger roles in them. So I'm working on a few indie projects right now, which is really amazing.
Nice.
With cool people involved. So that's super cool. I'm also in Theater 68, which is a theater company that's bi-coastal. I love theater. Theater will always be part of my soul. And that's pretty much what I'm working on. I'm also, my eyes are very laser focused on a film that's going to film probably in the UK. I'm just working on that. I don't want to give too many specifications. Sometimes I get, when I'm auditioning for stuff that I'm kind of been speaking to people on, I'm in the pipeline of it. I don't like saying everything. I don't want to like jinx it.
Right.
So,
Gotcha.
So yeah, so I got some big things that I'm working on.
Yes.
But right now, like a lot of original stuff we're making. So, I'm in the process of writing my own series that I'm going to be in, which is cool. And that's kind of been like a huge passion of mine right now.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Thank you. So, like now that I have my own channel, I was like, okay, well, I have to do this. My friend, who's my operations manager, my talent acquisition specialist, she has her own show called Adultish that she created, that she's the lead of.
Nice.
That she's 3 seasons in, and we helped bring her show to South Korea. That's how we got to go to South Korea. And she won Best Actress in South Korea. And I was like,
holy moly, that is so good.
So kind of it's like, okay, well, I did it. You have to do it. And I think that's a great thing, is that we rise each other up. You know, I think
I love that
the community now that like I said, I'm so big about helping people. So
yeah,
you know, I have my own stuff that I'm creating. I dabble in writing. I wouldn't say I'm a wonderful screenwriter, but I've been organizing a great show, and I look forward to really putting that to paper and typing it up and making that happen in 2020. So that's kind of like what I've been playing with. And this year was a lot about rediscovering who I am as a creator, and really understanding how I want to make my headway in my career through, like I said, producing and stuff like that, because that's really offered a lot of opportunities for me. Earlier this year, I was in a wonderful film called When We Dance, The Music Dies with Eric Roberts and William Ragsdale from Fright Night, and a couple other really cool people. And
wow.
Yeah, I got to be in that, and I started helping them. I have this lovely problem where I work on a set, and if I'm having too much fun, my like producer cap goes on. So I got more involved with that production, and we're gonna have a screening in a few weeks. So that's really cool.
Where are you screening?
We're going to screen in New York. So for all my West Coast people, I apologize in advance. But
we're there in spirit. Okay.
Yeah, in spirit. So hopefully we'll have a screening in California. But yeah, I mean, it's been a wonderful creative year, just in terms of like rebuilding myself as an actor. I took a hiatus to kind of really get my production company going, because I really want to make something for myself this year. That was like a big goal of mine. And to now be, coming on the other end of it with an idea. And people are like, oh, it takes a while to come up with an idea, guys. So
that you can flesh out and write about. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to find out more about what your series is that you're writing, or film, whatever it is that you're writing.
I forgot to mention one more thing.
What?
One big thing I've been doing this year, because I'm a huge nerd, for those that don't know me, and I know everyone's just meeting me now, but I'm a massive nerd. I love like comics, and I love Harry Potter, which is like become an obsession almost, which is really hilarious. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of interviews with amazing like celebrities and creators and stuff like that, and like the fandom world. And that's my other big thing I've been working on all year. So I want to work in that world. So I figured let's really immerse myself. So I've been working with this great platform called Fanbold. I've been doing some awesome interviews. I got to meet like the whole cast of Castle Rock and interview them and stuff like that. So it's amazing who you meet, just finding different ways to engage in the industry. So if I'm not if I'm not always on set, I'm trying to find a way to engage with people who know better than me, which would be people who already have like massive shows. So, a lot of fun.
But that is so cool. And also too, it's also inspiring that you actually do it, right? You take the action and you do it, and you're, you're a fan, and that shows and it comes across, but you're also professional. And so I think all of that is so great.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So last question, so it's time for us to wrap up. So last question would be, if there was an advice you wish someone had given you previously that could have really helped you out, what advice was that? Would you like to share it? Either for acting or producing or anything. Yeah.
I think what a good question. I think that if I could shake myself 15 years ago, I would definitely say the biggest lesson that I learned, that I hope everyone takes to heart, is like, keep your blinders on, find your pack of people that really believe in you and that you can lean on each other. And don't worry about not being liked. Worry about not being authentic to your goals and dreams. I think that would be the biggest thing. I think the amount of opportunities that I was afraid to take, or that I didn't jump into, or that I stopped myself from doing, especially with acting. I know a lot of people can relate to me on that.
Yeah.
A lot, because I didn't think I was pretty enough, or talented enough, or thin enough, or had enough credits. So like I didn't even go to the audition, or I didn't even submit, because I was afraid they weren't going to like me.
Right.
Or that someone was going to, come in and I was going to be jealous of them, and I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Once I stopped caring on whether or not people liked me, and I just made sure that I was happy and that I was safe with my own feelings.
Yeah.
It really, a lot came to light, and you find the people that are in your community and build a community. Yeah. You don't have to be like a lone wolf. Like, it's about, you can be uniquely you and find people who are uniquely themselves and make like a motley crew of awesome, unique people that like just go follow their dreams. And there's nothing wrong. And I think this is the biggest lesson. Yeah. There is nothing wrong with sharing your journey and helping people along the way. And I think a lot of people are so afraid that, if I tell people that I did this, that they're just going to steal that and they're going to run with it. Yes, I'm not saying there aren't people like that out there, but like the more times I helped people in small ways, I don't give your whole special sauce away. One of my favorite mentors and friends, James Hallett, had this great saying. He told me like a month ago that I've been pretending like it's my own when it's not. He told me no more $10,000 napkins, because I always found myself sitting down with people and like they'd be like, I want to do this. How do I do this? And I would literally write out their whole business plan. I don't do that anymore. But if I could just talk to somebody and I can be like, and they'll be like, what can I do? And I could just help them, be like, here's a great resource. This totally helped me.
Right.
Like give it away. Like especially if it's public information, like give it away. Like it's not going to hurt anything. It's going to help somebody.
Yeah.
And you never know. And you never know when you're in a room, whether you're in a coffee shop or a classroom or an audition or on set or, on a subway car, you never know who you're sitting with. Because the people in that room you could be working with or working for in 10 years, you have to decide what that identity is going to be like for you.
Wow, that is great. Yeah.
So that's I know I went all over the place. I gave 3 lessons.
Which is great. No, I think that's even better. Yeah.
So to recap class, first would be don't worry about not being liked, worry about being authentic to yourself.
Wonderful. Love it. Okay.
The second one is don't be afraid to pay it forward and pass the gauntlet down.
Yes.
I'm a huge advocate for that.
Yes.
And
then Tiffany Haddish. I can't pronounce her last name.
I think it's Haddish.
Haddish. Dang it. I don't know why I can't pronounce it. Haddish. Yeah, but she did that, right? She's like passing it down, paying it forward. That's so cool. Yes, absolutely. Sorry, go on.
and then third one is that always be conscious of the people around you. You don't know who you're going to be working with or working for. So
nice.
Be nice. Yeah, be nice. Be a nice person.
Yeah, I love all of that. Love it so much.
Be a badass. I'm not saying don't be like, I'm a badass. I'm a rebel. I do all this stuff. I sound like such a cliche now. I'm like, I'm a rebel. No, don't be afraid of be a badass all you want, but be a good person.
Right.
You don't have to be an asshole to become successful. I mean, you could be like tenacious, but you don't have to, ruin everybody to get to where you want to get to. That whole thing isn't really a thing anymore. And plus, if you're a jerk, no one wants to work with you. There are more people that lose jobs because they have a bad attitude versus not being talented.
Right. Because people want to work with people they enjoy working with.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you're there all day together.
Or in another country or an island or in a house for X amount of time making this one thing together.
Yes. Yes. So great. Okay, Jordan, thank you so much. You've been wonderful, so helpful. Oh, again, how do we reach you? How do we find you? One last time.
The best way to reach me is to find me on Instagram. It's my epic jam right now. So my Instagram is at Jordy_Starbaby. That's JORDIE_STARBABY.
Excellent.
And my website is StarbabyEnterprises.com. I will have an acting website soon. I'm just like everything else I'm doing, I'm in the process of making it. So find me on Instagram.
And how do we find you on the Roku channel?
Oh, the Roku channel, it will be Starbaby TV. So when that is live, I will be doing it. If you want to subscribe now, there should be an option on our website. Hopefully it's live on our website to subscribe. And we'll send you an email link on how you can subscribe.
That is so awesome. All right. Thank you, Jordan. You were amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Actors Resource Podcast with me, Alice Kwong. I'd love to hear from you. If you have ideas or questions that you'd love to have answered on the show, please send me an email. Holla, HOLLA, at AliceKwongActor.com. Alice, ALICE, Kwong, KWONG, Actor, ACTOR.com. Thank you so much. Bye.